Hello and welcome to Dragon Ball Z Super Review episode 46. I know it's been a while since I've been on this recording of reviews, and I'm actually have decided to upload this video early because I was going to do the other reviews, but this is just too big of an episode not to review. Well, the episode itself isn't a big episode, but the episode here, in case you haven't been catching up or keeping up, is Dragon Ball Z Super Goku versus Vegeta, or as he will be named from this review on, Googeta. And I'll talk more about this in another review, the whole thing, how I feel about Googeta. This review I'm going to try and keep short and sweet, to the point, mention some things, mention other things, but I don't want it to be as long as my other reviews have been, because chances are the preview is going to be way bigger than what I say in the review. Because let's be honest, this episode, I don't like using the word filler, but I think filler is the perfect word for this type of episode, because legitimately I think if I made a bet, I could win to say that everybody was waiting for this episode, mainly for the next episode, which is the beginning of a brand new arc completely written by Akira Toriyama. In case you didn't know, this is not Akira Toriyama's work, as it's Toei kind of doing like they did back in the day, which is why some people may call it filler, but we'll get into filler at another point in time maybe. This episode is Goku versus Googeta, and it's not a bad episode. Official name is Goku versus Copy Vegeta. Who's gonna win? And I like this episode more than I thought I would, I'll admit. It was a lot better than I believed it would be. It starts with Goku and Vegeta. It starts with the superhuman water, as they call it, just kind of moving away from the grill body shape and then going about its own way. And then we go on to Vegeta, who's almost completely see-through except for his head for some reason. Which it will bring me to, real quick, it will bring me to animation. I thought the animation in this was actually really good. And you may hear a phone in the background. I thought the animation in this episode was actually quite good. It had some weird, looking moments, but I think all in all it was spot on. Personally, I think Gogeta is just an excuse for Toei to draw a crappy character on purpose, because literally Gogeta he looks different in different shots. Like his eyes are drooping, some his eyes are a straight line. And I had a theory in my own head that the more Vegeta gets, see-through, the clearer the Gogeta would be, and eventually when he disappears, that he becomes completely solid. Still purple, maybe not, but he basically becomes Vegeta. And I think that was just a theory in my own head. Obviously that's not true, because this episode shows that Grill has long gone disappeared, and his goo version was still goo. But anyway, Vegeta fights Goku. The choreography is not too bad on their fight. There's a moment where Goku's getting punched into the ground. It reminded me a lot of his fight with Beerus, where Beerus was just punching him into the ground. And then Goku suddenly says that he can use he can use the instant transmission, or, if you call it, whatever. We're not going to care about sub stuff. Instantaneous movement, if you will. He remembers he can use it. I don't know, the subtitle's weird here, because it's like, I can use it this way too. So it's like, Goku's done that before. He's used instant transmission before with fighting, and I don't understand why he would just say, like, I can do it this way too. I think what it was is he's showing off to Vegeta that he can do it as well. At this point, Vegeta is actually he doesn't know who to root for, because Vegeta's going for Goku, he's going for the Gogeta. He doesn't know, because in a sense he's watching himself fight Goku, and he's like, oh, I would do this different. What is wrong with you? Who you call yourself, me? And there's a point where he gets so pissed off that he actually just jumps forward. But I should mention they have a cool moment with Goku and Gogeta where they're both on pillars, and it reminded me of the Saiyan arc. I thought that was a cool little callback. I'm pretty sure that's what they're going for, because they weren't in the same poses, but they were both on pillars, and I thought that was really cool. One thing that bothers me is that we only have like 3 to 5 minutes for Vegeta to, be in existence, which I'll talk about that now. Apparently he just dies. I thought it was like he disappears from this world and not in like a dead way, because I hate to say it, but at this point, if he does die, what urgency is there? There's the Dragon Balls. Like, I don't think there's any rule that if he's killed by a goo version of himself that he can't come back to life. But anyway, no matter. Vegeta gets mad and he's like, I've had enough of this, and he goes to punch Gogeta and he goes through him as he is see-through. Although he's flying now, which is weird because he lost his powers, I thought. I guess ki and stamina are different, and stamina needs, well, I mean, I think ki and stamina is different, but maybe stamina is what he uses to fly. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I think Toei just forgot that they said that he lost his powers, so he flies up there, tells Goku not to lose, tells Gogeta not to lose, and it's weird. I thought it was a weird little scene anyway. But anyway, we go on. We find out that they have to destroy the core, as it were, of the original superhuman water. So they'll do that, but in this moment, Goku goes Super Saiyan Blue, and Vegeta explains it to Potafu. No, that's the planet. Potaji-san, that it's a god saying it's the Super Saiyan god, Super Saiyan with the power of a Super Saiyan god. I know I just totally butchered that. And then we find out. I was actually surprised. I was shocked. I was wondering this the whole time, and it confirms it. Gogeta goes Super Saiyan Blue. I couldn't believe it. Or Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. I was like, what? I actually flipped out. I think that some people, didn't like the color. I like the color of Gogeta with the blue hair. I thought it looked really cool. He looks really badass with the aura, I think. But they go all out at this point, which I think is weird because Goku should have been going all out from the beginning. I mean, if Vegeta is going to be disappearing. But luckily, Potaji-san has an answer. And this is like probably the best moment in the episode. Vegeta puts a pacifier in his mouth. And he doesn't realize it's a pacifier. He's just like, I'll do it. As long as he's me alive to watch this fight. And it's clearly a pacifier. Jaco tries to take a picture. Doesn't work out because his camera is out of battery, which is a sad moment for him and everybody who never gets to see this other than these guys here. But I find it weird that Vegeta didn't know that was a pacifier, because unless I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't his baby have a pacifier? I'm pretty sure in the Cell arc, I'm pretty sure that Baby Trunks had a pacifier. I'm pretty sure of that, and I'm pretty sure that he would have had a pacifier as a baby in the real time. I don't know. I thought it was weird he didn't know it was a pacifier. But this is where the fight with Gogeta and Goku really starts to heat up. Well, I say heat up. The choreography of this fight isn't that bad. I'm not going to go into specifics. There's some cool moments in the fight, but the only real ki blasts we see here is when Gogeta starts to shoot a bunch of ki blasts at Goku. And that's like the only ki blast we see, which is weird. Well, I say that, but technically it ends with a ki blast. But there was no final flashes, no Gallic guns, no signature moves used. It was mainly fisticuffs in this episode. But anyway, Trunks, Goten, and Potaji, also with Jaco, go to find the superhuman water, one that was grilled. They can't find it. There's a hilarious chase scene that ensues where people have been complaining about why are they running, because, it is kind of dumb that they're not flying, but it's Toei. I think that Toei likes to mess things up. Just like Vegeta flying up, he can fly now, which is weird. They're running, which I guess the way I would explain it is they don't want to leave Jaco behind, and that's why. So the goo starts to pursue them, and there's a funny moment where Jaco's like, "Oh no, it's gonna absorb me," and it looks like it's coming out of it. They're just it goes to the side, and then he's offended. He's like, "Why aren't you absorbing me? I'm an elite. I'm a super elite. Absorb me." Oh, I love Jaco. He's a great character. I love his manga too. Wish they had more than one volume of that, but it was a good moment. I guess the chase scene alone is worth that. But then we get back to Vegeta versus Goku. At this point, Vegeta's ki, I guess, starts to disappear, and Trunks notices it and he freaks out. And so now he suddenly decides to fly. You could also say they're kids. I mean, they're not thinking straight. They're freaked out. They're not thinking straight. And I don't know, it's weird. It feels like nobody's really taking this serious, but they also want us to take it serious. Goku didn't go Super Saiyan Blue at the beginning, even though he didn't know at the time that Gogeta could go Super Saiyan Blue. And I don't know, they're running from Blob. I don't know, it's really weird. I just feel like the characters either are dumb in this little mini arc, or they're just playing around. They're not taking any of this seriously, and it's bothersome as Vegeta's disappearing. I should also mention there's moments in the animation where Vegeta's body is fully like physical. He's not see-through anymore, which I thought was weird that they didn't catch that. Nobody else has said anything about that. But yeah, there's scenes where, especially where they're showing him on that rock, and like they're zooming in, and like his body is completely solid. It's like, okay, we're just gonna forget that. Anyway, Goku and Gogeta, they have a pretty decent fight. I'm not gonna lie, the fight wasn't too bad. So at this point, Trunks freaks out and he goes to see if his father's still alive because he thinks that he's dead because he doesn't feel his ki anymore. He is relieved to see that Vegeta is there, and you know, Goten and Potage and Jacko all join him back, and then Goku and Gogeta go and they power up for one final blow, which is just they're gonna punch each other or something. I don't know. This is gonna decide it. So they go to punch each other, and it's a big explosion. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's huge, but it's weird because, and I have a slight explanation for this. These are Super Saiyan God Super Saiyans. Goku as a Super Saiyan God in Super was able to shake the universe. But in that same episode, they learned to match each other's, you know, force of hits so that they weren't going to destroy the universe. So I think the best explanation we could use to why this feat hasn't been replicated as a Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan is just because, well, I think that they learn how to control that ability, and they know how to hit without bursting the atmosphere. And I don't know, it's kind of a half-assed way to explain it maybe, but just to me that's what it seems like. Back to the episode. Trunks is about to get absorbed by the superhuman super fast water, because this was a pretty far place. Like, they were pretty far from this, so I don't know how it slithered its way back here all that fast. But there's a touching moment here with there's a touching moment here with Vegeta and Trunks where Trunks is about to get absorbed by the superhuman water. Vegeta's like, Trunks! And he spits out the pacifier, which essentially removes all the time he has left, because the only thing keeping him alive at this point was the pacifier. And he spits it out. And then Trunks is about to get absorbed, and Vegeta like gets in the way, and he like goes through him, and it looks like he's about to get absorbed. Goku realizes that, you know, Vegeta's doing this. They have a touching moment with Vegeta turning his head, and he's basically sacrificing himself for his son, which reminds me a lot of, this is the second time I want to say that Vegeta has sacrificed himself, not, you know, for the good of others, especially for his child. And actually, it's funny, the first time he had his son with him too. He just knocked him out. But Monaka comes to when Vegeta and Trunks are like, Papa, Trunks, and I was like, when Vegeta goes past Trunks makes it sound like I just thought that was funny. It's not supposed to be. This is a really good moment, but it's ruined, I think, when Monaka comes to and he steps on the core, completely destroying it. The goo starts to go into weird shapes, as well as Gogeta, which I think makes sense the way that this happens, because Gogeta starts to break apart and lose his shape. Goku sees his opportunity and starts his Kamehameha, his godly Kamehameha. I think he actually says Goddo Kamehameha in this one, as he sees Vegeta turn his head, and then he shoots a Kamehameha because it seems like it's too late. Potage says it's too late. So he shoots a Kamehameha to completely kill Gogeta, which I think they did very wise, because they would piss off a lot of Vegeta fans if they knew that Vegeta just lost to Goku, even if it was a copy. You know, legitimately. But this way you could keep it kind of in between, like they're still the same level of strength, because Goku only won because Gogeta got weaker, and thus he was able to kill him. So now the debate of Goku and Vegeta still being at the same level, not mentioning Kaioken times 10, which I don't think we're going to see anytime soon unless Goku learns to master it, because I think the whole point of him losing his ability to fight and stuff was kind of just to warn us that that's not going to be a very common thing, and he's only going to go Kaioken in dire situations. So Vegeta and Goku are about evenly matched, and they prove that in this episode, not pissing off Vegeta fans by having him completely destroyed by Goku and keeping them pretty much even the whole fight, which is pretty cool. It's nice. But then Goku is a surprise. Oh man, Manaka defeated the superhuman water. He's so strong. Goku, you're so stupid. Like, come on. Like, everybody else knows by now. I feel like Goku will find out he's a fraud. It'll be interesting when that happens. But maybe after a long while. But he makes fun of Vegeta for sucking on a pacifier, which is like, what? I didn't know that was a pacifier. And they show Pan sucking on a pacifier, which people have been saying it's the same pacifier. I don't think that's the case because it's a different color. And Videl's like, oh, she'll move past pacifiers soon. And Vegeta's like, oh. It's weird. This next part's weird because Goten and Trunks are scolded by their parents, but Goten's mother, Chi-Chi, is, as if you didn't know, is actually being a lot sweeter and kinder than Trunks' mother. You'd think it'd be the other way around. You'd think Chi-Chi would just be tearing him up. I've noticed that with Chi-Chi and Goten, that she treats him differently than she would treat Gohan and Goku. That's very strange. Then Goku and Vegeta have their usual, oh, you know, I beat you. Oh, you won't beat me for real, Kakarot, blah, 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 blah. So now we're going to get out of the review. And, oh wait, no, because this isn't technically the preview yet. Then we cut away from this happy moment and we see somebody, a familiar face, running through a destroyed city. A very familiar scene with a very familiar man with a not very familiar sword. That's right. We see Super Trunks. Super Trunks, that's not his name. We see Future Trunks, who is running from somebody. And I also heard people complaining about this running scene. I thought this scene actually made sense. To my mind, he's running from somebody. He's not going to fly and, out in the open. So then we get to a nice scene with him. Well, I guess you could say nice. He turns his head and he sees somebody. Somebody is about to start some shit. And then it says next week a new chapter will start. And that's what everybody's excited for. Like, this is what you watched the episode for. You didn't watch for Gogeta versus Goku. You watched to see what happened at the end of the episode. At the end of the episode is Future freaking Trunks. Oh my god. We are shown some previews from the next episode. I like how Toei does these previews. They do it really well. They show just enough to keep you excited, and then they show, just enough to confuse you, because it's funny how Trunks' words go with the scene here. Oh, we're in preview section here now, so I'll slap that on. Trunks is saying there was a time of peace after I defeated Cell. During this time, they're showing Goku and Piccolo picking radishes, looking like they're making it some type of competition, which I think is a good way to do editing-wise, because it makes it, if you're not educated, you might think, oh, they used the Dragon Balls and everything went back to normal. But no, obviously this is regular. This is our timeline that we're seeing here. And I think the next episode is going to be a contrast between Trunks' future and our present life. Because, as you know, Trunks' future is a lot more hectic. Well, now you know. It's a lot more hectic than our present timeline. And they're showing that, I think, with Goku and Piccolo, just kind of goofing off. And then you see this more serious situation with Trunks' life. I think there's a really good parallel to show the two contrasts of how things are going on in the timelines. We see Bulma working on a machine, and it looks very similar to the one that Bulma was using and had Manaka help her with in the episode beginning this latest arc, which I find really interesting because Originally, I thought that nothing that happened in that arc would come back. And I may have been wrong, because it looks like that might be a thing that's going to be coming back up. Now, I am going to start mentioning a trailer that Dragon Ball Heroes posted up not too long after this episode premiered. Oh man, I'm so excited. This is going to be like, this is the best moment. Yes, Trunks has blue hair. He dyed it. Anyway, that's the reasoning. They'll probably give a reason. I doubt it. But yeah, that's why he tried to find himself after Cell. You know, he lost his image. He wasn't sure who he was anymore. He dyed his hair blue. You know, he just, you know, it happens. He was a teenager. Well, I guess he was like, what was it, like 18 or? He was probably in his 20s by the time he came back. Anyway, he had to find himself. He didn't have time to be a teenager because he was fighting the androids. So, you know, he found himself, and he found himself with blue hair. He dyed it. There you go. Anyway, that's why his hair is blue. But the next episode, it looks like Bulma may play a large part, and everybody's speculating she's going to die. By the time this review goes up, the episode will be out, and you'll already know the answers to that. I don't know the answer to that, and at the moment, neither do you when I recorded this. And it's looking that way. In the trailers, I mean, we see Trunks is crying at the end. We also see Mai, or it might not be Mai. Maybe Mai had a daughter. Maybe this is Mai's daughter. They'll explain that. Like, we don't know that's Mai necessarily yet, which would explain why she looks young. I mean, maybe Mai got with somebody and then she had a kid. That's a possibility. I mean, I know the voice actress has been confirmed to play a big role, but she could play the daughter. Look at Nozawa. She plays all the Goku family. Why not? Well, Sun family. Why not? But that's neither here nor there. Bulma doesn't look that old either, so I think that Toei is afraid to draw old people now because they think that people will relate it to GT. But at the end, it looks like Trunks is crying. He's holding on to something, which if you see the longer trailer, you know it's a bottle of blue liquid, which I think is the time. I think is the fuel source for the time machine, because there's going to be a one-way trip from here back to the present where he can't come back. And I think this episode, the evidence to Bulma being killed is higher and higher. And if Bulma is killed in the beginning of this the end of this episode, it would be obviously this mysterious Black would be the one to kill her, which they show Black holding somebody. And the other preview from Dragon Ball Heroes could be Bulma, could just be a random bystander. The place looks pretty desolate, so chances are higher it's Bulma than it's just a random person. It could be Mai, who knows? But it looks like, here's how I think this is going to go. Trunks is going to get the fuel source from his mother. He's going to try and escape this Black. Like, he's going to try to get to his mother. He's going to try to escape Black. He may get to his home and think that he's safe, that Black didn't follow him. And then it turns out that he did. And then we see in the other trailer that you're not going to see here that the Capsule Corp location looks pretty badly burned around and it looks kind of destroyed, which lets me think that Goku Black does come to the place, you know, their residency, and he may kill Bulma. I don't see any other reason why Trunks would be crying in that last moment while he's holding that fuel source. I could see it. She gives him the fuel source, says something like, "This is our last chance. Go back to the past and get Gohan," you know, because, and keep in mind, I think this is interesting to note, which not many people have noted. When Trunks left the present timeline, Gohan, if you remember, was the strongest person. Goku wasn't alive. I don't think he's kept up with the people since, you know, the end of that. Goku was dead, and Gohan was the strongest fighter. So I think that Trunks is going to come to our present timeline looking for Gohan to ask him for help. He may be sadly disappointed, but maybe this will lead to Gohan having a purpose again in the series. I'd love that. A lot of people would love that, I think. You know, it would be cool to see a contrast, like present Gohan and future Trunks working together. It would remind a lot of people of future Gohan, who everybody loves, and Trunks when they work together. It would be great. Hopefully that happens. It might just end up being Goku and Vegeta, but this mysterious Black, which I'm not going to get into any of the other specifics of black. We're just going to go off of this trailer for they haven't shown his face. It looks kind of like a shadowy figure, or maybe he's just moving so swiftly. I'm actually hoping that it's not exactly Goku. It may be, but I also have a theory about that. Maybe Goku is dead. I mean, as we know, Goku is dead in this timeline, and perhaps maybe he was corrupted somehow in the afterlife by the Makaioshin, which we've heard about but have never seen. And that's how he becomes Goku Black. I did it. I said I wasn't going to mention Goku Black, but I did. Which would also explain why he doesn't exist in our timeline, because Goku didn't die in our timeline, and he never got to that place where he was corrupted by a Makaioshin. So it would make sense why it would only exist in Trunks' timeline at that point, because I don't think Trunks is just going to come and warn them of somebody. I think this somebody, there's two possibilities. And I'm going to try and cut this short because it's going long. I knew it would. This preview is probably my longest preview ever. There's two possibilities, though. Goku Black somehow follows him into the present, which I don't like because it's kind of similar to how Cell did it, even though he killed a different Trunks in a different timeline. It's kind of similar to the thing like that. And a lot of people are speculating, I'm one of them, that Trunks brings them to the future, which I think would be much better. And if they're still trying to keep it in theme with the end of Z, it would make sense if they go to the future for some undetermined point of time. Then Bulma could say, I haven't seen you in so long, just like she did at the end of Z. But anyway, Trunks may see another family member die, and I think if that's the case, I know Gohan wasn't his family member, but he was like a brother to him. And if that's the case, I gotta feel bad for the guy, but this is gonna really change Super's whole atmosphere. Already the colors of Trunks' future is dark, a lot darker than the present. You can tell by the color scheme that they're really trying to make you know that this is a serious situation and that things are a lot darker. And I think this is going to be the beginning of a dark turn for Dragon Ball Super. And unless you want to count Frieza, which I wouldn't, because the whole thing about him coming back to life was he was just a joke upon himself, thinking he was the best. But that's kind of his thing. He thinks he's the best, but the joke is on him because he's really not. But he's absorbing his own hype. This is the first time Dragon Ball Super has had actual peril in it. And I'm excited. I know everybody else is excited. I especially love the fact there's no leaks, there's no title leaks, there's no, synopsises of what's going to happen in the future. Toei has been promoting this really hard with Dragon Ball Heroes and, the Dragon Ball Super, and just in general. I'm sure in Japan there's stuff all around about it. They are heavily promoting this even more than the Champa arc, and they are keeping the lid really tightly sealed on it, which I love. They're giving us little pieces of things that they want us to see, but they don't want to give the whole pie. And I love the fact that they're doing that. I had wished they did this with the tournament arc, but it looks like they're doing that with this, because usually by now you'd have episode leaks, and with the tournament there was the manga going that we had ahead of time that we knew what was going on. None of that's the case here. It's all new. We are all in the dark. I will add one more thing before I end this review, this preview, is that while this is great, I would have loved it, and I don't blame anybody. I mean, this is Toei's call and totally fine. I envy whoever is not in watching Super right now. Why do I say that? Because in the future, a child or somebody will come across this, and they will have seen Dragon Ball Z. They will have seen all that. And then they will watch this episode, this very episode that I reviewed, and they will see this Trunks scene, and it will be so new to them, and they'll be shocked. They'll be like, oh my god, the feelings they will have. I almost feel robbed that Toei had revealed that future Trunks was coming back and that we have this Black Goku, because this would have been the greatest thing to end the episode on, if I didn't know about it. I know why they did it. It was to hype it up. It was to get attention, and it worked. It definitely worked. But I envy the person who is not in with all the news, who does not know what's going on, and comes across this, knows about Dragon Ball Z, loves Trunks, and comes into this episode. The end would blow their mind. Anyway, that's my review/preview. Told you the preview would run long this time. I have been here to entertain you. Hopefully I did that. and goodbye. I still don't have a proper, getaway, whatever.